Hey guys, what's up? I'm in my backyard today and I'm about to tie-dye all my clothes. Partnered up with Lulu's and they sent me a bunch of white cotton clothing and I'm just gonna tie-dye everything. So I'm gonna show you before and after. I'm gonna try on all of my white outfits and then I'll show you how to tie-dye and then I'm gonna show you my after look of all the tie-dyed outfits. So stay tuned because yeah, I'm gonna show you how to tie-dye. So these are all the materials that I have. I have a measuring cup to pour the water into the tie-dye bottles, rubber bands from the set, my own rubber gloves, Ziploc baggies, plastic wrap, and a cold bucket of water. Okay guys, sorry it's a little loud, but I just wanted to go through this kit. Has some amazing colors in it. Some are doubles because it's meant for a party. Like double yellow, double red, but there's like a pastel pink, a turquoise, orange, peach, red, yellow, blue, green, black, like all of the colors. So I feel like this is a really good set. I got it on Amazon and I'll link it in the description, but yeah, this is a good set. So I'm gonna start setting up and I will see you soon. So first I'm gonna dip the t-shirt in the cold water and wring it out really good so it's not super wet and soggy. Then I'm gonna lay it flat on top of my plastic wrap on top of my table, or plastic sheet. And then this one's gonna be the spiral, so you take it and you twist it super tight. Because the t-shirt was wet and I had the plastic on the table, it was kind of sticking, so I kind of had to guide the spiral. Kind of just imagine how you see a spiral tie-dye tee and just wring it really tight. And then I take the rubber bands. I usually do like 6 to 8 on a spiral just to keep it really tight, and depending on what color scheme you're gonna do. If you're gonna do a rainbow, I suggest doing 6 to 8 for sure. But yeah, you can do however many rubber bands you think suitable for how tight you did the spiral tee. So actually applying the color is kind of the easiest part once you've secured your spiral. The spiral kind of creates these triangles, so I just pick my colors and keep inside the triangles. And for this one, I chose 3 colors, so I just did the triangles on the opposite sides. And then keep in mind where you put the color, so when you flip it over to the back, you can just copy exactly where you put the color, and it'll create a perfect spiral. So once you're done doing all the color, it's gonna be kind of drippy and wet. You're gonna wanna make sure you secure it in a Ziploc bag. Of course, when I was done, I ran out of Ziploc bags, and then I had to use plastic wrap, and then I had to use trash bags because I ran out of that too. So make sure you have the Ziploc bags on deck because that's going to be the best thing to hold in the color, and you want your shirts to be really wet still so that the color develops. For my next piece, I decided on a little challenge. I took these white denim shorts, which Oliver was doubting I was able to do, but this method is called the Scrunch Method. Well, I like that I'm calling it a method, it's just a technique. And you just scrunch with your hands as much as you can to get as tight as you can. And I just placed the rubber bands like everywhere randomly just to make it tight so that the color was able to sit without just dyeing the entire short. We were able to see a tie-dye. So I randomly placed the color in spots. There's no method here. And I chose peach and pink. And when I flipped it over, same thing, random colors, and just to kind of create a tie-dye look. Later on, regrettably, I added blue after you'll see my camera died, but nevertheless, it still looks really cute, and put it in my Ziploc bag. So I decided to take a white denim jacket, and I wanted to make kind of a matching set. So I dipped it in the cold water again, and you're gonna see I'm gonna use the Scrunch Method here again because it's a really big, thick piece. So I tried to just scrunch it up as much as I can, as tight as I could, and just rubber band it so it could be tight. And you'll see here you'll kind of have to work it each time you put the rubber band on, just because it's got a lot of detail and it's really thick. So you might have to individually rubber band some spots, and in the end kind of rubber band it all together. So I'm doing the same peach and pink colors here, and you'll see I'm kind of randomly putting the color like I did for the shorts, just to create a splotchy kind of tie-dye look. So yeah, applying the color on the scrunch is very easy because there's no method to this madness. So just kind of place it however you want. And you'll see some pieces later where I used a bunch of colors. You can do all of the rainbow with this method as well, as long as you kind of randomly place it where they're not touching. Because this was such a big piece, you'll see my struggle here. I had to use the plastic wrap. This wasn't gonna fit in a Ziploc. So I kind of struggled here for a little bit wrapping it, but you wanna make sure it's really tight and wrapped all the way through. I'll skip ahead so you can see the end of my wrap job, but yeah, just so you know, you gotta wrap everything so it stays wet and soaking in the dye. So I'm doing the cotton sweatshirt next, and I'm gonna do the spiral again, but here I wanted to show you how I use multiple colors. So I'm gonna do a rainbow. This one was a little tough because it was so thick. Again, I'm challenging myself here, but so I had to kind of guide the spiral again, make it really tight, and rubber band it as tight as I could. So once I have all my rubber bands on, it's not a perfect triangle like I did on my first t-shirt just because of the thickness of the sweatshirt. So I kind of have to guess where my triangles are and apply the color. I don't want to mix the color, remember, and I just want like a beautiful rainbow spiral, which I was super happy with the way it turned out. It was actually one of my favorite pieces, so I love the rainbow spiral. So I'm not really sure what to call this technique besides sections, and my camera died soon after this, so this is the last technique you're gonna see on camera. But basically, you dip the shirt and you make it in a really straight line, scrunch it up as usual, and then put the rubber bands into sections. Instead of doing a circle with the triangles that you usually have, you're gonna have to stay in your sections here, don't mix the colors, and then when you're done, it'll kind of look like an ombre. Depending on the colors you use and such, I tried to use similar colors, but it'll look like an ombre at the end.
So I just finished tie-dyeing sunset now. Can you see that? My camera died, so I got like halfway through, but yeah, I was having a lot of fun, so I did a bunch more. I'll show you guys. And I have them all set up here, and yeah, like got dye all over. It was super fun, so I'll show you guys soon.
It's the next day, and I put on all black again, and I'm gonna start getting the tie-dyed items from outside, bringing them inside, washing them out in the sink, and throwing them in the washing machine, and then we're gonna dry them, and then that's it. But I was gonna say, I left them out overnight plus more. It's about noon right now. So the longer you let it sit, the longer the color is gonna process. So usually you can do 6 to 8 hours, but if you want like a more vibrant color, you can leave it longer. And also I did it at night, so like overnight just made sense. And I didn't get impatient because I was sleeping, so I laid down a trash bag on my counter so I don't get dye everywhere. You can either do it in your sink, your bathtub, or I would recommend a bucket. I have a stainless steel sink, so it's not gonna stain, but if you have a white sink or a white bathtub or something like that, I would suggest rinsing it out in a bucket. So I'm gonna show you how to do it in the sink, but yeah, if you have white everywhere, be careful to like lay down trash bags, tarps, and all that so you don't get dye all over your house. Okay, also remember my fiasco where I ran out of Ziplocs and plastic wrap? First of all, I would highly suggest using Ziplocs. It's gonna keep the moisture in so that the color like progresses, and it's not gonna leak everywhere. So my items that I have right here that I wrapped in a trash bag, and then I rubber banded it after I ran out of everything, they started leaking, and then also some of my plastic wrap items started leaking. So highly suggest if getting Ziplocs, and if there's a huge item, I don't know if you could see in the compilation, but I Ziplocked on each side and then plastic wrap in the middle so that it's still in the Ziploc and doesn't leak. So yeah, let's get rinsing so we can see the results.
So you're gonna unwrap it, and be careful. I should have worn gloves here because I got dye all over my hands, but you unwrap it and then you're gonna turn the water to cold first to rinse out all the dye, and then you can turn the water to hot to kind of set the color, but make sure all of the dye is gone and you see clear water before you put it in your wash so that it doesn't stain your other masterpieces. So then after I rinse it, I'm gonna go to my laundry room and throw it in the wash.
Look at my hands. Wear gloves. This is crazy. I wanted to show you, after my camera died, I just was having so much fun, so I just did a bunch of stuff. Oliver had got a t-shirt that he wanted me to tie-dye for him, which was a poly blend, and we were curious how it would turn out. I want to show you guys. This is before washing, obviously, but if you have a poly blend, it still soaks, but the color is not as vibrant as my cotton stuff. Ooh, I'm leaking everywhere. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys what a poly blend looked like. Make sure you use cotton, but if you're okay with like a faded color, you can use a poly blend. Okay, so I just put everything into the washer, and I'm gonna use a little bit of detergent, and I'm gonna use the hottest setting available in the washer. I want all the colors to stick, and I want the dye to stick, so put it on hot. And I spent about an hour kind of soaking everything, rinsing everything, making sure it's thoroughly washed. I think if you had a bathtub or you did it in a bucket, it would be much faster. So I did it in the sink just because I thought that was the safest option. And yeah, so I feel comfortable washing everything in the same wash. I think that's like very okay if you rinsed everything thoroughly, so you can throw it all in the same wash. Okay, I got everything into the washer and I'm about to wash it. I mean, this is the prettiest load of laundry I've ever done.
all done. Thank you guys for watching.